The Lakers, who have been possibly looking into making a trade, have not made one quite yet because, according to a recent report, they have been doing their due diligence in order to get the right deal. What's good, y'all, and welcome to another Lakers Digest video. I'm your host, Okechi Apakama, and before we get into everything of today's video, guys, I want to bring your attention to something. There is 93% of you guys who have recently watched our videos who are not subscribed to the channel just yet. If you guys want more of that, like your news, like your game coverage, trade rumors, reactions, just every and all things LA Lakers, you guys want to come right here to Lakers Digest so you guys do not miss a moment. And now with that out the way, guys, let's hop straight into the topics of today's video, guys, as we had a huge report recently saying that the Lakers have a few options via trade. So there has been a bunch of reports flying left and right of the Lakers being interested in a bevy of players on the market. And according to the one and only Shams Charania, due to this FanDuel TV series, he was talking about how the Lakers have been interested or doing their due diligence into looking into guys like Dejounte Murray, Bruce Brown Jr., Tyus Jones, Terry Rozier. So those are the couple of the names that he said to keep an eye on for the Los Angeles Lakers in order to make a possible deal. So it seems that the Lakers have been going through the search just very meticulously to try to see like what would be the best offer and what the best value they can make for this possible trade here, as they only really have one shot to really get this correctly. So nailing down a trade here is really important for the Los Angeles Lakers, because if you trade away one of these guys, you really can't trade it back and have any do-over. So it's kind of like now or never here for the Los Angeles Lakers. So it is smart for them to kind of take their time with this and to try to see what the market holds up and see what value they can get for the certain guys they're looking to trade for. But as for the guys that the Lakers have been interested in, Dejounte Murray, Bruce Brown Jr. has been a recent name, Tyus Jones, and then also Dejounte Murray as the big name there. So of all of these guys, they all kind of have different skill sets and all kind of would bring different things to the Lakers if they were traded to them. But just for the Lakers' sake, like I said, they got to be meticulous about the search because it has to be the right fit here. As we've kind of seen just semi-recently, just like the way have guys like D'Angelo Russell has been playing, and he would probably be one of the main pieces in this trade to go out. So you got to make sure if you're trading away a guy like D'Angelo Russell, you're going to get back at least equal or like slightly better than value than what you're getting on trading out, or it's going to kind of mess with the chemistry of the team, and you don't really want to do that with only half of a season left to go. But that kind of just really leads me to my next point here, and that's which player fits best. So I'm going to just go down each of these players and see what each individual player brings to the table and what they can bring in a team aspects, because I think each one of these guys have their own strengths and weaknesses to most of them. So we can start at the top here, and Dejounte Murray, who's been the big name here. There's already been frameworks for a deal that I recently said here on this channel. So there has been talks about between the Hawks and the Lakers about a Dejounte Murray trade, and Dejounte Murray here on the season probably has the best counting stats out of all the guys the Lakers are interested, with the exception of Zach LaVine, but I digress. Like I doubt he was not named in the report. But Dejounte Murray, he's averaging about 21 points a game, 4.8 rebounds, and 4.8 assists, along with 47% from the field, 38% from three, and 82% from the line. A guy who's a former All-Star and a former All-Defensive player. He is probably the most highest pedigree player that is the Lakers are looking forward, but also would probably cost the most for the Los Angeles Lakers in lieu of draft picks and assets they would have to give up. So if the Lakers were to make a trade, obviously they would have to put D'Angelo Russell to make the money work, but then also they would have to put in guys like Jalen Hood-Schifino, who their young guy who they drafted in the mid-round picks, who is playing really well down there in the G League after he's finally starting to get some minutes down there and get some run. And then also a future draft pick, a 2029 draft pick, and then the possibility for a possible pick swap or even some second-round picks. So the Lakers, that 2029 first round pick, according to most people on the market, are saying that that pick is going to be a very coveted draft pick for the Los Angeles Lakers because they don't know where they would be at in that point in time. So the Lakers could be a bad team. So that pick can be very valuable down the line. So that's really helping the Lakers here in talks about a possible trade and possible deal work. But it's been recently reported that the Atlanta Hawks, they would want multiple picks back, first round picks back, in order to kind of like recover what they lost when they traded for Dejounte Murray. But we'll see if they'll kind of get that value back. But circle back to Dejounte Murray. So like, how would he possibly fit next to these guys? He's a guy who his strengths are like he's a point of attack defender. He's great at that. That's probably one of his better skills. He's a guy that is very efficient shooting it down there in the mid range. He's very shifty, can be very good getting downhill. And then just a guy who can really be a nice little two-way piece for you. He's probably the more complete player out of all the players the Lakers are interested in, but he does come with some drawbacks, as this guy does have a little bit of a temper at times. He does tend to pick up a few technical fouls here and there, so that can really play an effect, especially when you're trying to play this high-level playoff basketball and things really ratchet up in intensity. You kind of need to keep your calm and cool during the situations. So I wonder how he would do in that situation. Then also, he hasn't really played in the playoffs as well, as coming from the San Antonio Spurs. They didn't really have any playoff runs, and then he went to the Atlanta Hawks, which they haven't really had too many deep runs. They had that first round 6 game. They went 6 games, in the first round against the Boston Celtics there, giving them a little bit of a fight. But other than that, Dejounte Murray really hasn't had too much playoff experience. So you're trading for a guy who, yes, he might be the best overall player, but he doesn't have that playoff experience. And then teaching another guy coming in on the playoffs for the Los Angeles Lakers, for a team that really wants to do something towards the end of May and June, it's kind of like hard to see. But like I said, we'll see what happens. We'll see, because the Lakers and the Hawks are going to circle back to their conversations, because they've kind of stalled, because they're trying to find a third suitor there for D'Angelo Russell, as the Atlanta Hawks do not want D'Angelo Russell back. So another guy that Shams names on that list was Bruce Brown. And I think he's a little bit more interesting why the Lakers were interested in him in the first place. Like, if they were able to get him for the value they got Gabe Vincent, I would have been all for getting a guy like a Bruce Brown Jr., because he can add to your team defensively. He's a guy who can guard a lot of positions. He's very stout, very strong, and then he also is a guy that can also give you something on the offensive end, whether it's hitting down corner threes or hitting that patented floater shot that he has in the mid-range, in the middle. And then he's also a guy who can kind of be a little bit of a secondary and third playmaker off of other actions. So he's a guy that can just handle the ball like a little bit and just make some good passes, good reads here and there. So another high basketball IQ player, a guy you can put around LeBron James and Anthony Davis and can really help flow things and really get things going in the offensive end. And then defensively, you don't lose a lot, as this guy is, like I said, very stout, very strong. He is a little bit on the short side, but he does compete on that side of the ball. So he would be an interesting fit. And then, along with LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Austin Reaves. And then if they were to trade for him, obviously they would have to trade D'Angelo Russell out because of his contract situation. So it depends on what the Raptors would like coming back, as the Raptors might be looking for other guys on the Lakers roster, maybe like a Rui Hachimura or somebody of that caliber. But I don't know if the Lakers will be willing to trade that Rui Hachimura for Bruce Brown, as those are two very different types of players, and they give you two very different types of things. So Bruce Brown Jr. is another guy that the Lakers are looking at. And then also who was said in that report, Terry Rozier. So this is the name that I personally think is probably the best name out of all of those guys, as those other two guys, they really they probably fit the bill as more of like two-way guys, as guys you can trust there on the offensive and the defensive end, Dejounte Murray and Bruce Brown Jr. But Terry Rozier, to me, is probably the better offensive guy, as he's been a guy who's been really killing it this season. Let's take a look back at those stats, actually, because I was crazy out there. Like, just look at that, 23 points per game on the season, averaging about 4 rebounds, 6.7 assists, which is a career high for him, shooting about 46% from the field, 36% from the three, and then 85% from the free throw line. To also go along with 2.1 win share. So he's helping that Hornets team, who haven't really done much this season, really win games. So Terry Rozier, I think, would be the perfect guy you can place in and go after and get for. If there is a way that they can somehow make a trade for Terry Rozier without giving up too much, I think that's a window that the Lakers have to probably take a look and see what they can get for him, because Terry Rozier, I think, is a perfect complement. He's a guy that's been there before, and that's probably the biggest thing for me. Terry Rozier being a guy who's competed in the playoffs and competed at a pretty high level, kind of gives me a point of just some confidence there if you're going to trade for a guy of him, because you know what you're going to get when you hit those high level, high pressure intensity moments. And then he's a guy who's not afraid of the moment. He's a guy who's a very clutch individual. He's a guy that's for the Hornets for the past couple of years has been taking some of those tough late game shots. And so that's going to be looked at when you're on a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, as when either LeBron or Anthony Davis are double teamed, you got to be ready to go and hit that big shot if needed. And Terry Rozier has proven to be like a guy that can do that. And then with the way that his offense has shown, can really shore up some things on that side of the ball. And then he also still competes defensively as well. While he is smaller than both of those guys, Bruce Brown Jr. and Dejounte Murray, he's also a guy that just can really get after it and compete. He is going to be kind of stingy as that point of attack defender. So he really, to me, makes the most sense, as he's the one that fits the most out of all those guys. But that's just my opinion. So what do you guys think about what the Lakers should do here? Should they make a trade for Dejounte Murray, or should it be Bruce Brown Jr. or even Terry Rozier, who I think is the best name out of the bunch? But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I've been your host, Okechi Apakama for Lakers Digest, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.